Welcome to Story of Unscripted Voices with Keisha and Latisa, where we rise from the hurt, reclaim our power, and heal together. Welcome to Story of Unscripted Voices with your host Keisha
and Latisa.
Today we're going to talk about death and accountability and share some of our experiences with you guys. And you can always comment and share yours. Um, let's see. I will be 40 in 2 weeks, and I have had a lot of death along the way. So that's a blessing to me because a lot of people I know haven't made it to 40, didn't make it to 40. Uh-oh.
What happened?
So I'm kind of happy and I'm sad about it, so I'm happy. Um, I'm emotional about turning 40 because it's unbelievable. But then I haven't made it there yet. I got 2 weeks, God willing.
Oh, you
But
gonna make
I've lost a lot of people along the way. Siblings were one of the hardest things for me to lose, especially like being the oldest. Um, I lost my grandma a few years ago, and she was really my favorite person. Um, I lost my dad a few years ago. Um, I still grieve. It's really no expiration on any of it. I've lost quite a few friends. The friends it hurts when I see their kids or to know that they lost their lives before we had a chance to get old or grow old. And I do realize that that's a part of life. Um, Everybody won't make it to an old age. Perfectly, we will, but it's just life, and I'm becoming numb to it. I know that sounds crazy too, but now when I hear about death, it's not like a shock for me because it happens so frequently that I'm kind of numb to it. So, yeah, what you feel about that?
Hmm. Well, um, I feel like it's another form of transition. I have not experienced a bunch of death. I will say that I've had, I would say, three people in my life that have transitioned. Two of them I was able to be on their bedside, and I felt like that was an honor. Um, I would say the first person that passed that was really, really close to me was my cousin. His name is Marcus Jones, and he passed from lupus.
Oh,
And I want to say I know I had both of my kids by then, and I remember he had lupus, so he had gone in the hospital, and I was like, oh, I'll get down there and see him. But I remember sitting at my desk at work, and I just ended up having like this pounding headache. And during that pounding headache, his sister called me and was like, "Hey, we're about to take him off life support." And I remember, like, I think right before that, I remember calling my dad and telling him, "Hey, I got to get down here. I need to go see him." But looking back on it, I looked at it as his spirit was saying, "Hey, I'm about to tap out of here." And I want you here. And I had not seen him in like a long time and throughout our series, we'll tell you about our lives and different things like that. But the point is, I had not seen him in a while. I did speak to him that July. I want to say he passed like spring. I want to say it was like 2014, 2015, maybe. Um, but that was the first time somebody really close to me passed. And since then, I've had a few dreams about him, and he's still himself in my dreams.
wow.
He was always really, really fun, and I love him. I love him dearly. Like that, I would say he was like my best friend growing up. We were young. I didn't realize when he passed how close in age we were. We only really like maybe 3-4 years apart. But when you little, you think like somebody is like way older than you because I was the baby. So my grandma wouldn't let me off the porch, but he stayed and he always played with me. He would let me polish his nails and not on no weird stuff, y'all. Like he legit just he knew my grandma wasn't gonna let me do too much, so he like would just keep me company, and play with me and look out for me and wouldn't let nobody mess with me. Then my great grandmother passed right before I moved to Texas. And I remember just like before she passed, I believe she was like 91. And I remember just praying. I was like, "Y'all, we finna pray," and it started thundering really, really hard. But she had dealt with Alzheimer's, so these are just people that have transitioned in my life. And I think by the time I moved to Texas, my grandmother, my great grandmother, which is my great grandfather, her husband had passed.
Mm.
But it didn't click to me that he passed. So I think I see the difference in if you're there when somebody passed versus when you're not there. Because when my great granddad passed, it wasn't like I don't know. I felt like, nah, he not dead. Like he's still here,
Yeah.
you know. And even in my dreams, when I would dream about him, it's like he was still here. You know, it wasn't like a real reality versus seeing someone transition out in a sense. So I would say those really, what my cousin, my great grandmother, who else did I say? I haven't had a whole bunch of
Great
people,
grandfather.
huh? And my
Yeah.
great yes, grandfather. Um, and my
That's a
grandma
blessing though.
nanny. Oh, the first person, y'all, my grandma nanny. My grandma wasn't my biological granny, but she took care of me. That's who my cousin Marcus would play with me. She was actually his great grandmother. The story gonna be crazy, right? But anyway, she passed. I was really young, but it's still, once again, I think it's for me. It's a difference when I'm there versus you hearing about it, right?
Yeah.
You there becomes a disconnect, or not a I don't know, a reality. But my grandmother that wasn't my biological grandmother, she holds a really, really special place in my heart. I think she's part of the reason like my relationship with God is really, really strong, because if she ain't drag nobody else to church down that little rocky hill, she drugged me. But I think about her when I get sad, or like just in general when I need encouragement. I always think about her. So um I think death has different effects on different people when it comes to people actually departing from this world. Um, I
Yeah.
don't want to ramble too much. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts, Keisha?
Um, I started taking losses like as a teenager. Like I remember having a cousin because my mom is the youngest of I think 12 kids. So like all her nieces and nephews are her age or some older than her. And she was very close to my cousin named Wanda. I remember. And she potty trained my brother and everything. We go over there every week. And when she passed away, I was probably in the sixth grade. So that was like my first time really experiencing like somebody really close dying. I remember being a little girl and a friend of the family. She threw a party while her mom was out of town. Her name was Taisha. I just remember being a kid and playing with her, and she threw a party, and someone shot up the party, and she was killed. And she was only 14, so I was way younger. But I didn't quite understand death back then. But as I got older, it happened so frequently. Like my cousin Ron, he was like my protector. Like if I need somebody beat up, he's coming. Like when he died, I was a senior. I dropped out of school. I used to go to the graveyard like nightly because it was like up the street from my mom's house. I just used to grieve that really hard. I still do. It's been a while. That happened in 2003. And I was like 17, almost 18, but it messed me up mentally. Then I remember my cousin named Nikki. Now, this is my first time being in a hospital room with someone and they're sick. So I walk in and I can smell the death. Like,
Mm.
and she took her last breath. So it's like we're all there. She takes her last breath. I often think about that because I can't get that smell out of my head. Like I'll never forget what that smells like. Um, my baby brother, he passed away in
Mm.
2009. Um, he had cerebral palsy and he was supposed to get some surgery on his throat or something. His airwaves just were growing closed. Then they canceled the surgery. He ended up passing. But I just remember him being in my old room because I didn't live there anymore, in his bed. And I walked in there and saw him and just saw how he looked like for the last time until they came and picked him up. But I had to, it was a point in my life where everywhere I moved, I took that bed. I used to sleep in that bed. Like I still do really miss him. Um, my little brother on my dad's side, Jermon, he's left two kids here, but he was killed by the police. He was like doing robberies. But that hurt a lot too because he didn't want me to move to Texas, and I did anyway. But it's like he started wilding out when I left and started doing robberies. He never admitted it to me, but of course he can't deny it now because that's how he died. So like even with losing my two grandfathers, like my mama's dad, my mama's a lot like her dad. They act just alike. Like, but he called me and it was like maybe I want to say 2005. But he was like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to get out of here." Like somebody call you and
Oh,
say that, and I just
yeah.
broke down. I'm like, "What does he mean he's getting ready to get out of here?" But it's like
I
he made
prefer
him,
somebody tell me. Tell me when you.
yeah, because he went traveling, like moving from like Kansas City back to his home state, Oklahoma. He we buried him in Crescent, Oklahoma. That's where he died. And he really called me and was like, "Yeah, I'm finna get out of here." And I'm just like, "You finna get out of here? Like, did you pack?" Like, but then he died the next day, and that was like strange. He died of cancer.
Mhm.
Actually, my dad's dad died of cancer too. I miss him dearly too. He was like really active. Had lots of grandkids, but he took us on trips in his little church van. He he picked us up during the holiday season, took us to like this Christmas park in Kansas City where we played. He kept us together, and
That's
even though yeah he wasn't together with my grandma at the time, but I
mhm.
remember being at her house and her cooking Sunday dinner and him sitting at the head of the table like weekly, even though they
Mhm.
wasn't together. So that
Like
like
a
that sticks out in
tradition.
my mind. Yeah, I mean me, you ain't sitting. We ain't together. You ain't sitting at the head of the table. You got to go. It's done for. But I remember that, and I miss him. My first friend I lost a friend named Evelyn when we probably just got out of high school, not too long. She died of cancer, and that just kind of it rocked my mind because I'm like, dang, we're young and we can die from cancer like that.
Mhm.
Um, my friend Shantae, you hear about her a lot because I love her son dearly.
Yeah.
But that was like a big loss. I think about her like every day. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how that works. My friend Taylor, Texas friend, like died of cancer. Um, my friend Tammy died of cancer. Um, shoot, my friend Nico, he passed. My cousin Keenan, that wasn't. I was pregnant when he died, but that was a huge loss. My cousin Quan, she passed. Like it's like never ending for me. I'm just
Mhm.
and like right now, like my auntie's fighting cancer. Like it's a part of my daily like prayer. I just be like, that's a loss I just know I can't take. I just don't feel like going through that. I almost lost my mama
Mhm.
this year. So it's been a tough year. And it's like there's never gonna be any preparation for death. They could be my grandma was 93 and she probably was ready to go because she told me she was, but I wasn't ready for her. But I mean, God was. So
Yeah.
I think she's at peace. She looked peaceful in her casket. I have one living grandparent left. And I cherish her because she's the last one left, and she's pretty cool. She's older, so she does her little fussing and stuff. But when she's fussing, I'm thinking like she the last one left. I can deal with that.
Right.
So yeah, that's when I go to sleep at night. Trust me, I think about death constantly. My mind is always fixed on death, and it's
Yeah.
almost like I can't live because I'm thinking about death. So I do like therapy sometimes for it because it could be anybody. It's been anybody around me. So that's my TED talk.
Well, while we on it and we kind of in the heart of it, I know a lot of people lose people at any time of year. But the holidays, of course, we have Thanksgiving just passed. We got Christmas. We got New Year's. We going into the spring. You got graduation time. It's a lot, right? People traveling. People have illnesses. So we definitely want to just let you know, like we all understand nobody is exempt. Once it's our time, it's our time. So let's make sure that we enjoy. I think the most important thing I'm learning is enjoy the time that I have with people. You
Yeah.
know, if you see somebody, give them a hug, tell them what they mean to you. Just cherish the people around us. Don't take it for granted. Don't take your own life for granted. If it's something you want, um, as long as it's in God's will, I would ask you and encourage you to consult Him. Go after it. Take some risk in life, because, like he said, none of this is promised. We don't know. We really don't. I know one thing. When I thought about death and have thought about death over the years, one thing, because I used to be afraid of passing. Like I used to really be scared. Like in journals, I would
And
write, and I think I would pray to God, and it wasn't even that anybody around, a whole bunch of people around me had passed. It's just something that I don't know.
yeah,
The fear of death would
it's the
come.
unknown.
Yeah, it's the unknown. And so I would literally just pray and ask God to grant me enough time to do his will on this earth.
Because there's only
Grant
one
me
way to
enough
find out.
time. Huh?
It's only one way to find out. And then you ain't gonna be here to tell it what you found out.
So that's why I say I don't want to leave nothing left on the table, nothing unturned. Give me enough time to raise my kids. I would love to see at least 2-3 generations after me.
Yeah.
That's my prayer, and that's what I have. You know, that's genuinely something I've asked them for. But when I do start thinking about it, it don't matter who it's about. I had to pray it away. I'm like, God, nah,
Yeah.
nah, we not doing this today. You know, so
Yeah.
to people that have lost people, like I said, I know it's the holidays. We here with you. And I don't like it. It's not an easy process. I know grieving is not an easy process.
Mm-mm. Because I got a
But
longer list than that of people I've lost. I just ain't even have enough time to name everybody. But also, death does not always mean like physically dying. We
physical,
grieve the death of
right,
losing people too, like out of our lives and going through trauma. Because you can lose people and you can grieve it and just from losing them in your life and they're still
right,
alive. So a lot of
right.
people, you know, grieving people that's not even dead yet.
Right. Or just transitions. I'm really, really big on transitions. Because I
Hmm.
that's one thing I know for sure is inevitable, which is change.
Yep.
Um so it's like it's so many different transitions in life where you literally gotta let go of whatever was, and you gotta
Yep.
walk into what is.
What is? Yep.
It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. It don't matter what's behind you. It may be a little sad, whatnot. The different emotions that come with all of that. But the reality is that that's a death,
Yep.
right? Because it's no longer the life that you once had. It's no longer. Some of the people that once were, they're no longer. So dying to that is versions of ourselves, right? It's certain versions and certain parts of us that we hold on to, and we literally have to die to, right?
Yep.
To step into and to embrace what's next in our lives, to do whatever God has us here to do. Um, so, like she said, death is not just a person isn't here. And I think for us that's still here on this earth, we have to recognize the deaths that's in our lives and figure out how to just, navigate through them.
Yeah. Because some deaths are needed. Because if it's comfortable too long, it's no growth. You
Yeah,
can't grow comfortably. Like
right.
I wasn't good with change, but it took me 40 years to finally say, no, you gotta release those things. If it's too comfortable for you, then you're not doing anything right. You gotta go. So I
Yeah,
just been letting anything and everybody go that need to go. If we can't grow, then you gotta go. Cause
yeah,
I'm gonna miss you. We
yeah.
don't know the day, the hour, so I wanna leave my footprints in the sand.
Right, right. I agree. I think for me right now, the biggest transition in my life is I moved to Texas in 2017, and that was a transition, and it happened like that too. But I also had a little bit more preparation. And I was, how can I say, I was a completely different person in 2017, right? I was going through a whole nother transition, and um leaving Georgia to go to Texas was like, okay, this is what I'm doing because I knew I needed a change. It was like, if I want something different, if I want a different result, if I want to become a different person, if I need to heal, it was more about my healing journey than anything. I got to get up out of here, right? So I go and it works, right? Then here I am 2025, and I feel like too, God gives glimpses of what He gonna do, and you will say and watch what you say, in a sense of listen to what you say, because sometimes we just say things and we don't realize where it's coming from. But it was a few years back. I remember saying, "Oh, I'll move to Georgia when my oldest gets in high school." My oldest in high school. I remember.
You did
I
it. You
Right.
asked.
I remember saying, "Oh, if my job goes to Georgia, they go into the Atlanta office. Oh, I'll go." Right. So
They
all of
did.
these, and I did, right? But then as it's happening, it's like, hold on, God, I was good. Like, bro, don't don't do me like this.
If the job goes, okay, the job went.
Right. My baby in high school, I'm like, ah, dang, okay. Um, but it was almost, I feel like one of the things I pay attention to is the difference in when I'm orchestrating something, or I think I'm orchestrating something, versus when God is orchestrating something. Because when God is orchestrating something, I've always felt like there is a imaginary string that is pulling me that I can't break from. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do to get off of that string. I'm literally just being, I'm walking on a string that's like this thin, but
Yeah.
that's my faith, right? And then there is a pull that's like, nah, this is what we doing. This is what we doing.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
He
So,
he hear you. He hear. He listen. I don't even battle people when they tell me it's not real, this and that. Because listen, I'm living in everything I talked about, everything I asked him for. I looked around my house. Yeah, I mean, I did
yeah,
want a new build, but I also told him, listen, whatever you see fit for me. And I looked around. I was like, no, it's a pretty nice place. It's an answered prayer.
yeah,
Everything I asked for. It wasn't like forever. Literally,
right.
it was when he saw fit. So
Yes.
so I was like, that's an
It's
answer
his
prayer.
timing. It's for
Talking to
sure his
you is an answer
timing.
prayer. Talking to you is an answer prayer. Think about it.
Yeah,
I gave him qualities of what kind of friend I wanted. I didn't know it was gonna be you, but also when I met you, I also talked to him about the right now. I feel
yeah,
like we a good fit. We could do a show together. We could do this together. I've been talking about that since I met you. It's an answer prayer. Even if it's small to some, it's big to me. So we're doing it
yeah.
right now.
It's big to me too. It's big to me too. Because I've always wanted to do different things, but I was like, dang, I wish I had, like, I want to collaborate, right? One
Yeah.
brain. I know I'm amazing. Don't get it twisted. But
You won't let us
I did
forget.
I have learned over the years that to collaborate with people is really, really important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can bounce ideas where, like, and that goes into accountability. We can hold each other accountable. Like, hey, you said you want to do X, Y, and Z. Why we not doing it? Are we gonna let
Yeah.
it die? In an essence, like, are we gonna feed it, or are we gonna let it die? And don't. I mean, we all dealing with life. We dealing with life. It's coming, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like you still have a purpose and you still have something you want to do, and it's bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger than me. I think it's bigger than Keish. Anything I do, I want it to be bigger than me. I
Yeah.
don't. It ain't. It's way bigger.
Yeah. Your transparency of life though is pretty dope though. Like literally I can hold you accountable and you won't be like, oh man, I feel to talk to her no more. You be like, well, I'm sorry. Okay, this is what it is. I don't know people like that for real though. So that's dope to me. But honestly though, like you hold me accountable and I'm cool with that. I feel like you need that. If you got a bunch of
Yeah,
yes men around you, you gonna cause at the end of the day it's you and God. So yeah, they
yeah,
agree to your fuckery right now, but you gotta have to answer for all that you do. So
fact.
so so it's like I really think it's dope having friends to hold you accountable because I feel like we've grown in that. Because now I
Yeah,
can learn you on a different level. I know, like, all right, cool. Well, if you say it's messed up and it gives me a chance to be like, you know what, that's really messed up. You need to go back
yeah,
and redo that. It ain't
yeah.
really a
I
matter of
think
your opinion.
accountability for
Yeah.
me, it's like intentions,
Yeah.
right? Because one thing about it is, I'm gonna be truthful with me, right? And I want others around me to be truthful, but I don't want nobody coming with ill. And it's like, under where you coming from? What angle you coming
Yeah,
from? Are you coming to tear me down? Are you coming because you want to see every flaw? Or are you coming because you want to see me fit? Where are you coming from? I think intention is everything. So I trust people like with good hearts. Like I gotta know, like, okay, this person don't mean me no harm. And if I tell them something and have told them something, they not coming at no, no
yeah,
shade. They literally like, listen, I'm telling you this because this is my perspective, and I genuinely care for you.
yeah,
Like I'm not gonna beat you.
yeah, yep. And
Yeah.
and to me, like, I think that just come natural for you though. Like I think you
To
could
what?
be like you like a person that don't mind telling somebody the truth because that's who you are. Whether you gonna want to hear the truth or not, like
Yeah, but
you
I've
finna
had to
tell it.
work on not being offended. That's
Yeah,
what because like I didn't trust people, right? I still don't really trust too many
I
people.
know.
But
I know.
like if you like if you ain't showed me, that you're not trustworthy, then I really do value what you say. And
Yeah,
when I say not trustworthy, like people can tell people things, but you got to realize people can read if you judging them or if you giving solidified
yeah,
recommendations or input on something that they shared with you. So I
yeah,
think that's really, yeah. So I have had to work on. Don't be offended. Don't take everything personal. I used to take things personal, but I
yeah.
did read the four agreements, and one
Me
of the four
too.
agreements is not to take anything personal
Never
because
take it
sometimes
personal.
things are not about you, it's about the other person. And so for me, even if I give somebody my advice or my opinion, I want to make sure that it's not how can I say my trauma, right? Something I'm dealing with. Like I'm not giving it to them from that space. Like I'm giving it to them because I'm hearing what they are saying and what they need, not versus what, something I've personally dealt with or have not healed from. I don't want to give nobody
Yeah,
unsolicited information, opinions, advice from a place of an unhealed place.
absolutely.
I only want to give it from a healed place.
That's why when they ask me about marriage, I tell them I still believe in that. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing, the right partner. I'm never gonna take my experience and tell you not to do it. Go get your own. Live for yourself.
I'm getting it. Not just, wait that.
Cause I'm gonna do it again. I can't tell you don't do it because I'm gonna do it again.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, yeah, I sure am. God willing. But but yeah, so like I just think that you do have to leave with your discernment too again because I've had a person in my life that I thought loved me but really hated me and would tell me about myself and say I'm holding you accountable or this is my truth. Now I'm just telling you the truth. No, that's your truth to me but from the hatred that you want me to believe for myself. I
Right.
don't believe nah, you can feel it when it's authentic. And
Yeah.
if it's hate that you feel, I'm definitely not gonna listen to that. I'm gonna
Right.
continue to do whatever it is that you hate, which is
Right. Right.
doing me. So then you got when you're dealing with things from every aspect, you got family that won't hold other family accountable. Listen, I don't have a sister, a brother, a cousin, a nephew, a niece that can come to me with some bullshit and I not tell you it's bullshit. Like you should know because I feel like even when you have like cousins out here in relationships and they do fuckery to their partners and then they have a mother, father, or whatever backing them for it. I'm not with that. Even in my own experience, like you know a person wrong, but you finna side with this person because we family. No, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
you wrong because we family and I want you to be better because it's a representation of myself. Like this is my family and I love my family. So if you out here doing this fuck shit, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I should tell you.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I would say my siblings are my accountability partner, and I'm definitely theirs. They
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
110%. But one thing I will say is the only reason I can hold other people accountable and speak when I asked them, do you want the truth? You know what I'm saying? Do you want my opinion? Can I speak?
You want it?
If
Are you
not,
gonna be all
cool.
right?
I'll hold it. Cause you're gonna come back and you're gonna want my opinion. You still gonna do what you want to do, but I think just hearing a different perspective on things is important. But for me, I look at it as if I can hold myself accountable, right? Because at the end of the day, I gotta lay with myself. I gotta look at myself in the mirror. I sit with myself. I spend a lot of time with myself. Um, and I think that holding yourself accountable is more important before I can hold anybody else accountable. Right?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna call my flaws out, my bull crap out, because one of the reasons I did learn why I used to be offended is because if somebody tells you the truth about something and you haven't digested for yourself on your own truth, it offends you. It
Yep.
bothers you, right? But if can't nobody tell Tisa that, hey, I can't think of nothing off top, but if they can't tell me something about me that I have not recognized about myself, nobody shouldn't be able to come to me and tell me nothing I hadn't recognized about myself.
Yeah.
Technically, as time and people meet you, they're gonna tell you different things, but it's for you to go sit with that stuff to see, okay, where they coming from with this, and does this apply to me? If it don't apply, that ain't who. I don't know who you talking about.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it does, then hey, let me self correct, let me self reflect,
Yeah.
so I can become a better person.
Exactly. And then nobody can use it against you. That's one of the reasons why I like Cardi B. I'm not gonna lie. Because
Yeah,
anything they throwing at her, she already owned it. I already own my flaws. So you can throw it up
yeah,
in my face, but it's not gonna move me. But a lot of times people throw your flaws up in your face because they haven't processed their own. You
right,
haven't held yourself accountable. People
right,
people would do wrong, know they doing wrong. And to me, the defense mechanism for that is I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna tarnish the people I'm doing wrong name to change people's perspective of them because I can't hold myself accountable. So I need to tarnish the people's perspective of them to make myself feel better because then they have a better chance at believing my lies. So therefore, I can't hold myself accountable on this. I'm about to be the victim and I'm about to point the finger at everybody else. And I want them to be held accountable for my wrongdoings. I want to justify it. And a
right.
lot of people deal with that. That's really a sad place to be in your life where you gotta be on social media posting all kind of stuff to try to justify your lifestyle or justify your wrongdoings instead of people saying, hey, you're wrong. And you saying, you know what? I'm wrong. Let me apologize. Let me not
Yeah,
tarnish these people's name. I don't need to speak on this person when I know I did wrong by them. Like,
yeah,
because it's a price to pay for it all. It just is. And you don't know how it's coming back, And I do believe in like karma skipping people and hitting their kids. I
yeah,
believe that. I don't
yeah.
know why, but I see somebody kid battling and I be like, you just never know what the parent did and they probably think they got away scot free. But the hardest thing for a parent is watching their kid go through something. So maybe sometimes that's the karma. This
Hmm.
is my theory. We don't know.
We don't know.
Never will know. Never
But
will
yeah,
know.
and I think it's times where, as a person, I've been in the wrong, um, done wrong, but shoot, I had people that tell me, "Hey, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You know that's not right. And you got to deal with that." And I may not
Yeah.
have wanted to hear it at that point in time, but I feel like don't think that it's just like when people growing up as a child. People think that kids not listening. Oh, it go in one ear. That's not the truth.
That's not true.
That's not true. If my job as a parent, as an adult, when I see children, my job is just to literally plant the seed. I'm gonna tell you whatever in the most respectful, kind-hearted way what's going on with you. And then if you still, because you're a child, you got to go through your own phases in life. You got to go through your own mistakes, but you're not going to forget what that person told you. I know as a kid, a lot
Never.
of times adults talk to me and I didn't forget. I promise you, those seeds were planted. And when I started making decisions, I'm like, dang, I remember such and such said, at whatever they
Uh,
had done told me. And I'm like, no. So I think we have to speak up. You have to use the
yeah.
voice that God gave you, and you have to speak up, whether the person receives it at that time or not. They'll receive it in due time.
I do that to my mama all the time. I hear her, and I might even go secretly buy what she told me about. Go get this herb. You need to do this. I just won't tell her because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, but I hear you.
Yeah. We all gotta let things digest. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
we
you
human.
do. I
We
don't like to
human.
to hammer stuff down people's throat. I tell you, you either take it or leave it, and you do whatever you may with it. But I'm
Yeah.
not going to spend every day down your throat. I just can't do
No.
that because
No,
we
no, no,
all
no.
humans. We all humans living,
For real.
and literally, I don't use people's things against them or whatever the case may be because that's another reason why I'm selective on people and things I talk about because you can hold me accountable, but hold me accountable and don't continue to keep bringing it up to use it against me or
Right.
to throw it in my face or say because I forgave myself for it and so did God. So I don't need a human trying to
Mm-hmm.
punish me for something or make me remember. And sometimes, like especially going through therapy, we get so far in our process of where we are with things, and somebody always need to remind you. Don't start doing good because somebody gonna remind you of your bad.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
I'm not for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I think as long as we here and God got us here on this earth, we have the gift to change. We have the gift to grow and evolve.
yeah,
And like you say, I think you can't hold that against people. Everybody got a pass. We all got a
everybody.
pass.
Yep.
So I don't want to hold that against anyone if they are, making the necessary steps to improve who they are. With
That's the
still
hardest
being,
part. The
and I think one
steps.
thing I do, yeah, yes. Well, one thing I have realized is when I like reflect back on life, there's times in my life where I wanted to change because other people told me to change. Right? You need to change this. You need to not do this. You need to. It would be simple stuff like my hair, my nails, my attitude, whatever they thought, anything. And I'm like, to fit into this box or this person, or have this image. And I wanted to change those things, but at those times I was young. I'm 19, 20. As I've gotten older, I'm like, dang, I was gonna change anyway. I was
Yeah.
gonna evolve and grow anyway. Like, but I
Yeah.
couldn't. God wouldn't allow me to just rush, because it's no different than if he give you something before it's time, right?
Yeah.
I had to
Yep.
go through certain bumps in the road. I had to just embrace being young. When I see young people doing certain stuff now, I'm like, they young. Like, you
Yeah.
once you hit a certain point in life, you're gonna change, most likely. There's
Going
certain
to.
parts of me creatively that I'm not, that's who I am. God created me to be a creative person. So that part, but how I express it, that has changed over the years. So I think in every part of our lives, like, give people the grace, give people time, to change. They're going to their perspective on life and everything is gonna change. And I think everybody's not on our assignment. So you got some people
Yeah.
that when they're changing, you're gonna be able to walk with them through that process. There are some people they're gonna have to go their way and do they change, and you go your way, and then maybe y'all meet. If not, so
If
be it.
not,
There's some people I love you from a distance, and I'm just gonna, keep you in my prayers and talk to you when I talk to you, and you change. But there are certain people that God has blessed us with, and they are allowed to
yeah.
be on this journey. I think for a lot of people, I would say parents. For me, my children, being by my side and being on this journey and able to see my changes and my growth is most importantly, because I'm not gonna hide too much, from them. I am who I am, and if anything, you're gonna grow from the person I become. You'll look back a few years and be like, "Man, I remember my mama used to," and it's been several times where my children have said it, even my walk with God. Like, they remember a time where my walk with God wasn't what it is now, right? And for them to tell me, it's like, dang, you paying attention.
Yeah.
You paying attention, and I want you to pay attention, because that's gonna be your greatest lessons from me. I'm gonna, walk with you through this.
That's dope. You know, it depends on how somebody tell you things. I'm learning that too.
Yeah.
Because I remember my mama, she always tell me like, you need to stop wearing these braids and ponytails. You need to wear your hair. You need to do this. And I wouldn't do it simply because of her tone. Now you said, hey, I think you'd be really pretty if you wear your hair. I'll show
Yeah.
you this. I'm gonna do this. You didn't just say this is what you need to do. You was like, let me show you. You did set the tone. I'm gonna take you get your hair done. You know, like literally,
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how you care for your hair. I'm finna so you could do that. You know, so it makes a difference of how people are talking to you and telling you what you should do.
Yeah.
And like I think I think Jersey like sees different stages of me because I feel like even through everything me and her went through, we went through it together. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's amazing, like the person she is. And I'm like, dang, that was a whole lot for a 3 year old. But the 9 year old today, like she's always been wise. But then I look back, like it's a reflection of me because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have that. Like my parenting is different from the way I was raised. So she has
Right.
far more opinion and I let her be her in her mind. I didn't have that. So it's like, watching a piece of myself that I wanted to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
our bond is so dope to me. Like
It
we can
is.
sit and we can really talk and she really comprehends. Like
Yep.
my faith grew with God through her because she's been talking to me about God for so long. Then like even talking to you, like I can talk about God with you all day and it is literally not a problem, you know?
Yeah.
So like I think that's another thing with like just releasing things because if you always around um a lot of people that or don't have like the same desires as you which direction to go, then it's gonna make you stagnant.